This week at Sovereign Actual, we will be visiting the original Bioshock, released in 2007 by 2K Games, though all footage was captured using the HD version from the collection, which was released in 2016. At this point, I'll let Andrew Ryan, the creator of Rapture himself, explain the reasoning for the underwater city's existence.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture. A city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
The game starts with the player character sitting in coach on a passenger plane, smoking a cigarette and providing a short, voiced comment about greatness. Not much for an opening cinematic, but there you have it. 2K Games wasted very little time before you get to find your way to Rapture.
You know what? They were right.
As I mentioned previously, and as I am sure many of you watching this video know, the game is set in a large underwater metropolis named Rapture. This is by no means an open world, as the very concept of an underwater city is confined and restrictive. This is fine, not every game needs to be open world, and forcing open world styles into a setting like this would ruin the immersion. However, the game never feels different. Every stage is reminiscent of the previous. World design is good, but it's not varied, and this does lend itself to getting boring with the game for any long sit-downs. The lackluster controls tend to get tiresome as well. They work, but they aren't fluid.
Now, would you kindly find a crowbar or something? Bloody splicer, seal Johnny in before they...
The characters you may encounter in the game are also limited. You have the big daddies, which are hulking men in diver suits with an odd assortment of dangerous hand attachments. And then there are the little sisters, which are creepy little girls with glowing eyes and a huge syringe. And they all appear to be clones of each other, although I don't think that is intentional. And usually when you see a little sister, a big daddy is nearby, as big daddies are their protectors, so keep that in mind. There aren't many other interactive NPCs besides the combative remains of the city's population and the mysterious Atlas, who speaks to you over the radio. Most, if not all, item transactions are through vending machines with no human interaction.
Your genetic code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
The game features melee weapons, some limited firearms, and an ability called plasmids. Plasmids are an injectable gene therapy that then require the use of injections of something called Eve to keep the plasmids powered. Some plasmids are fun, like lightning. You can zap a puddle and kill anyone standing in it, though a zap directly to their body rarely kills them. Headshots with a firearm may be more damaging than body shots, but I saw no evidence of this in any quantifiable form. Melee weapons are, for the most part, the go-to, as ammo is going to be limited, and the first melee weapon you pick up is a pipe wrench, as all classic games used to do. There is pretty much only one boss in the game at the very end. You do have challenges throughout, but nothing that can be considered a boss encounter. The challenge of the game was the air of suspense, never knowing what would happen next. Enemies around every corner, or sometimes not. That was the point. In terms of general difficulty, Bioshock is not difficult, as long as you're careful. The regular rank and file enemies are basically cannon fodder, and while they can kill you, any real danger to you comes in form of the big daddies, turrets, and sentry bots. They are large, armored, and dangerous, and they also particularly get riled up if you threaten the little sisters. The boss of the game, as there really is only one, is a standard boss. He is completely manageable though. You may have one or two moments in the fight, but it's fairly straightforward and I beat it on the first playthrough. Bioshock does feature puzzles, and though they are simple mini-game style challenges, most of them can be avoided through simple gameplay. The graphics are something else. It shows its age, true, but how many games are set in a place as unique as an underwater city with a 50s theme? It's unique, and that uniqueness makes it good. There are limitations and there are problems. The remastered version that you see here has improved lighting, the original did not. But I have read some reviews that said that the HD version actually had some things missing and worse condition than the original quality. I personally didn't notice any glaring differences, but if you research it, you'll be able to see what other people have found. I'll be honest with you guys, I held Bioshock in a much higher esteem in my mind. My memory of the game was drastically different than the actual game, and while I still consider it a good game, especially for someone who's never played it, I cannot see it having any long-term replayability. We can hope for a reboot of the franchise, perhaps with the recently announced Bioshock 4, which I believe 2K has started development on sometime last year. And I will of course play Bioshock 4. I love the series and I love the concept. And I have hopes that it will at least meet what I remembered of the first game, and hopefully far surpass the first game in actuality. Unfortunately, I'm going to give this game a replayability score of 4 out of 10, and I struggled with that. I was going to give it a 3, but the uniqueness of the underwater city made me bump it up to 4. It is a unique game. It has a unique concept in its setting, and that merited the extra point on the score. I'm not sure what game I will showcase in the next week's video. Perhaps something in the stealth genre? I do have a few ideas, I just haven't picked one. And as always, if you're interested in seeing more content from me, feel free to subscribe. I also stream on Twitch every Saturday, usually around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but it varies, it just depends when I have time to do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.